Seeing none, we'll move ahead to presentations.
All right, thank you, Mr. Polino. I'd like to start off, and something I'm going to do at this point forward is to talk about our portrait of a graduate. Our tagline is empowering every student, and there are 5 domains that we are focusing on for all of our students. That is communication, critical thinking and problem solving, hard work, integrity, and responsibility. I think it's a good way to frame our meetings, and the work that we do is to stay focused on what it means to be a dynamo. We have an update this evening. We have Mr. Doug Zanger from the Foreman Group, who's going to talk about the junior senior high school renovation project.
Good evening. Okay, quick update on the 2 projects. We started work. Well, first thing I talked about payoffs. We have an application in, the board approved. One contractor is asking for payment for one. They're not paying. So that's all we have this morning. The projects, for the lobby project over at the auditorium, work started 2 Mondays ago. And work today is demolition, and the work that's to be accomplished by the 22nd of this month is demolition, which is well underway, nearing completion. And running the feeder, which is the electrical circuit, from the basement, the main gear, to this new work area. The panel, that work is underway, and will be done by then. And some work in the lobby. Just so we're aware of and understand what we're thinking about these things. One concern we always have with working projects is students and contractors, the buffer, the separation. So what we have is, now that this demolition is done, there'll be a partition wall set up in the lobby, to one side. We're going to be doing all the work on the back, and then a barricade, which we move over near the steps. If you recall, you come down the steps toward the auditorium and you turn left or this way or to the right. Students will be allowed to do that. The barricade will be there to discourage them from continuing on into the lobby. There'll be a sign up as well. But it's only a barricade because that still is an active emergency exit. So if something happens, we still want them to be able to push through the barricade and exit. And we'll talk. Superintendent said yesterday's job conference and told the contractors that if students wander in where they don't belong, they'll likely say, please stay back behind the barricade. If we don't have anything that works beyond that, it's still probably with the principal to let him know what's going on. Our contractors are not going to be enforcing anything. Back off and do the thing. Noteworthy issues. We already have a problem. It's got nothing to do with the building. It's that the rooftop equipment that's actually down on the ground is the same kind of piece of 3AC equipment. It's going to provide heat and air conditioning for the air in the lobby. Take place in the heaters that were there. Back in May, recently, the industry changed refrigerants. That has created a problem because there's a lot of what goes into that piece of equipment is just routine stuff, but there's a little bit of it that is sensitive to the refrigerant being used and has changed. Valves, not that knowledge about it. So different pieces, components that are now long lead items. So that means instead of having the RTU come in and delivered within, say, 2 to 3 months, it's not going to come in until late December. Now, there's about 3 weeks of work to be done after it arrives. So this work, we're going to be done January 6th. January 6th is our completion date for the project. This is going to be pushing that out a week or 2. What it will mean is we want to have heater air conditioning for that stuff. Started with the heat will done, but you've done without heat units are not done. The intent was not to have the bathrooms used until January. So this really isn't having that much of an impact on the utility of the auditorium or the lobby. There'll be work that will happen outside the building where this unit is being placed. all ducting will be run, power will be run to the disconnect, and then once that unit is set, final steps of work will be taken care of outside the building. So that isn't already a concern, but there's a plan in place to control that. You get all work done around it. Question?
Yeah, so my understanding is that the new refrigerant isn't available. They haven't made it available yet.
That may also
And
contribute.
you can get the equipment, but not the refrigerant. So is the heat and the refrigerant two separate
There are
items?
two parts. There's gas for the heat.
Okay, so the heat,
So this is getting the equipment.
right,
Once the equipment's delivered, you turn the heat on.
okay. Because
The air conditioning,
you won't be able to test that till the spring or anyhow, right? You have to come back.
about May or so, we'll be able
Okay,
to switch over to run it on a low setting for air conditioning.
but we will be able to
Turn the heat on.
turn the heat on, okay.
But the unit won't be here until set up and operating until January.
Right.
I thought we anticipated the refrigerant changing. I remember when.
We know it was changing, but in the industry in general, like if you try to get a furnace for your home, you can get it, but you can't get the refrigerant. They stopped producing the old style
Right.
equipment, but you can get the refrigerant for that. So it's catch-22, like that a lot of the HVAC people are having problems with right now. So it's I was just curious whether or not it was set up differently, but it is gas, and so it's not okay.
I've been through this before, a totally different project, similar thing with COVID attack, where something's available, but not complete, it can't be turned on. So, we're in the same situation here.
Okay.
The only thing that's changed, we found that our drawings did not show one ceiling mounted heater that needed to be replaced, needed to be taken out. Demo. So we have an $877 change order. We'd like that.
How did they miss the heat?
The three were over the storefront entrance.
Yeah.
It's the one in the corner, and I can't tell you why it was missed.
Nothing that we have to replace the DT
No,
or
I said
anything
it
like
was
that.
extra, 2 guys for half a day, taking it apart and breaking it down.
Doug, is that something you need us to would like us to take action on this evening?
Yes.
Is there time sensitive?
It's not done, so the contract was already done.
Can we,
So no, I don't need you to approve this today. This is bringing it up to your attention for the business meeting.
and while Doug's talking, something we've done in the past, and I'm glad he's bringing this up now. We had formed an ad hoc committee for construction so that a small group of board members would attend one of those meetings so that we could get advance notice of potential change orders or anything that came up along those ways. I suggest we do something like that again because we have this project going on and we also have the masonry. But we can talk about that at a later date. I just why it was fresh in my mind. I wanted to bring it up to them.
So my routine, and now Dr. Paul, routine we'll be doing is whenever I know that something's coming up, I'll let her know. I give her a spreadsheet so she can see what's new and what we do to prepare for it, and it'll be on the agenda. And then we discuss it today, and if there's no issues or problems, then we'll approve it for the next meeting.
How will all this affect? We have a fall play.
Pardon?
We have a fall play that takes place in the auditorium. So how will all this construction impact that?
We'd have to work with.
Certainly, please, Mr. Levisky.
So with that entrance not open, we will be able to have folks enter at the front if they were to come out of the city parking lot. In addition to that, we have folks enter down the ramp. So that would be our contingency plan if construction is still ongoing in that part. That would be our option and our plan. We hold our beginning of the day school, beginning of the year meetings with our kids. We'll do the same thing. We'll come down the ramp and enter the auditorium in front because obviously can't go in through those doors. That's Doug was saying, if there's an emergency, so say we have the fall play or National Honor Society, and there's an emergency, we need to evacuate, we can go out those side door before we can go out the doors at the lobby, push those open because they're not locked. It says emergency use only. Right now, if you're down there, there's covering on the floor, so it's, you walk through there. It's not something that's like pins and holes and such. I don't know if you're going to address the temporary wall, which is where the well
That is barricade.
If you'd like, after the meeting, if you walk down, if you just stay behind the orange barricade, you need a hard hat to go beyond it, you can go look around and see for yourself.
And on the masonry, the work has been ordered, and that takes a couple months to get to work. So nothing will be going on until probably October, late October. And that's what we put in when we came up with a schedule. We figured for time contracts for executing, we had an initial job conference, contractors released what we would reckon it would take to do this again.
Questions for Doug? We appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In line with the renovation project in the lobby, something that we had talked about previously was a virtual Hall of Fame, where the current Hall of Fame plaques are. That is where bathrooms will now be. Is there anyone opposed to us lumping that in with the project? Ms. Stobniak had presented on that. Jan, a year and a half ago? It projects virtually what those are. We would like to pursue that. It's a nice way to honor our Hall of Fame inductees. Is there anyone that has an objection to including that? The cost is approximately $2,500, and then there's a yearly fee.
Is that an interactive one, right? Correct. So it's not just like it's a rolling, but it's more of an interactive.
You can put other things on there besides the Hall of Fame, they'll probably be added as we go along, but right now it's just.
Thank you.
Is there anyone that's opposed to it?
Well, I remember her presentation, it was very nice.
Super. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. In terms of the multi-purpose field, the representative is not here. However, I would like to give an update. Tomorrow, our administrative team is going to walk around the field to specify where seating will be. So let me preface this by saying we are not building bleachers. We have existing bleachers on the baseball field and softball field. Field Turf has been generous enough to use a crane to lift those bleachers to put onto the field. We want to take care of our marching bands, our color guard, our student section, as many people as we possibly can. We're going to get onto the field tomorrow and designate where those will be. A majority of the field is going to be standing room only. So as you look at the field, pretty much what you see is what you get. So most of it will be standing room only. We will have some bleachers. We're moving from baseball and softball to the field. We're also looking at some ADA seating for people that may be in wheelchairs that would need a different view or possibly a better view. Right along the side where the bleachers are, you're at ground level and it would be very difficult to see from there. So those are some of the things that we're looking at. Again, I want to just share with everyone, it's standing room only. So that's what you will have. We also counted, I believe, 183 parking spaces between 232 between the front and the two back parking lots and the front circle that we have there. So we also are looking at parking for ADA within the gate of the field. How we anticipate that working is that there will be a police officer stationed on the road who will be directing traffic and also stopping spectators from coming in if someone has a handicap placard to allow that person to pull in and park. So there'll be a police officer there coordinating that as well. Also had a very productive meeting with the township about our project, and I do intend on attending one of their meetings coming up. They'd like me just to come and talk about the field a little bit in more detail, and I'm more than willing to do that. So those have been very productive meetings, and I appreciate their time. Another update that I have is about Centegix. Today we had Mr. Main and Mrs. Stavniak were working with our police chiefs and other officers while we were having our administrative team meeting in preparation for the upcoming school year. That training also entailed for those police officers to have the app that they need to receive a message from our Centegix badge. All the administrative team has the Centegix badges. The remainder of our staff will receive those on the very first day of their school, not the student first day, but the employee first day, and then they will be trained on these. What that means then is once these are all activated, we will be able to directly get a hold of police if something is going on in the building, if there's a serious emergency. We also have a core team that will receive notifications that will not go out to the police so that we can respond to a classroom. Someone fell and was hurt. 2 students got into a fight. A second grader ran out of the classroom. Those types of things will also be used, and we will only receive the notification. So a serious emergency, the teachers will be trained on how many depressions to notify the police. If it's a minor issue, there are so many depressions to notify the core team. And we will be working through that today. And we truly appreciate Mr. Main, Ms. Stavniak, and all the police officers that are involved in this initial setup. We are excited about the partnership as we move closer and closer to keeping our students, staff, and visitors safe in our buildings. And this is one step in that direction. Unfortunately, most of these types of things are reactive in nature. An event is happening, we're reacting to it. And vigilance is the key. So we want to make sure that we are remaining vigilant in protecting and keeping each other safe. That is the best route to go. Any questions about planning and prep for the multi-purpose field, virtual Hall of Fame, or Centegix?
I have a
Ms.
question.
Haas.
You said about parking over here on this side of the school. Now, are they gonna have to walk down around the road? You know, those are bad. There's no sidewalks.
So our plan is, we're going to walk tomorrow, we're buying A-frame signs so that if you park in the back, there's a sign that says to event with an arrow. You would walk down Colfax, make a left onto Marion, and then you would walk up to the field. And you're correct, there are not any
Well, if you're
sidewalks.
going out Butler Road, that's, you're taking your life in your hands.
Yeah, you guys are down.
The flashing lights will also be triggered. I'm glad you said that. The one thing that we have control over is the school zone lights. We can flick those on during an event, and there'll be one on that side. When's that getting installed, Mr. Zangrilli? So we have layers of prevention, but we can't stop someone from being irresponsible or not paying attention. That's the unfortunate part. We also will be all hands on deck for our first few events to help people get from point A to point B. So you might see some of your friendly neighborhood administrators working in the parking lot or showing folks which way to get to the field. Those types of things will be going. Did that answer your question?
Designate for, I'm sorry.
You go right ahead.
Are you gonna designate like for the students to park in a certain place? Because you have quite a few kids that like to drive, you have your band, your cheerleaders and all that. If they take up the student places, now we're eliminating.
We had a lot of conversation about parking. And at first we were thinking, okay, we'd ask our fans to park in the back and we'd have visitors park up front. Then we said, well, wait a second. If there are older folks or folks who cannot walk that far, that's not fair to stick them in the back of the building. So we are going to ask our students to park in the back. Our student athletes will be assigned parking lot in the NPR lot. We're going to ask our students to park in the back lot so that older community members can have those lots. Again, we think about 200 some spots that we have. We should have sufficient parking. We'll have to wait and see. Did that answer both of the
Yes,
questions?
thank you.
What are we doing for the halftime? Visiting team, that type of stuff.
We consulted with Coach Walsh. Both teams will be outdoors at halftime. It's something that they've experienced before, and we are renting larger porta-johns, so just separate for the players and for the referees, so that they are kept away from the spectators. But they will be taking a knee on separate sides of the field. If there is a lightning strike, both teams will come underneath. This is something we've done for soccer. They will go underneath where the PA is underneath the. There's a storage shed below there. Any other questions? And we will have specific designations for everyone depending on where those bleachers are. And we plan to have all that finalized tomorrow. Questions about Centegics? Last thing, to Mr. Jason Grilly, him and his staff and his summer cleaners have done above and beyond what could be expected of anyone. We went from having minor floods at Acme to people digging up the street to find where water sources were. We've had carpeting replaced, new flooring put in. There is a field project going on. Colfax was demolished, numerous projects, and Jay still is sort of smiling, kind of. We really appreciate the work that you've done and your entire staff. Let's give it up for All right. The next part of our agenda is for bills and payments. That is a placeholder for the voting meeting. And I will now turn things over to our Director of Finance and Business Operations, Dr. Rajgopal.
Thank you, Dr. Grayson. Consent agenda. We've got the minutes of the June meeting. So any discrepancies, please reach out to Ms. Estoniak. Next is finance and operations. So we did have a finance committee meeting today, and amongst the agenda items was the state budget or lack of a state budget. And we did share a letter that the Department of Education sent to school districts. I call it our Dear John letter. No funding so far. So hopefully they pass a budget and school districts get the funding that they need. Also, there were other items discussed with capital projects and with Colfax demolition, the front lobby, the masonry repair work, which Mr. Zenger presented, and also the multi-purpose field. There will be additional agenda items for the voting meeting. We do plan to rent some porta-johns, portable toilets, also a cover for the long jump pit and so on. But you will see that on the agenda for next week. And of course, next is kudos to facilities department, Mr. Zengrelli and his team for keeping up with the numerous projects. One of them is also HVAC. If you see the crane outside this building, it relates to that work. So let's not forget that work either. The HVAC at Acme, that's complete, but it's still ongoing here. And I'm going to let Mr. Zengrelli share updates for back to school. Anything?
So Acme the work is all complete, but they return the whole units on Monday. So it'll be good for the teachers on Tuesday. The high school HVAC project, we are falling behind. We trained all the units up on the roof today. Their startup plan is the 21st and 22nd, so we will have air conditioning for the students. They will be coming in the evenings to finish some of the things up that they're not going to be able to finish prior to the students coming back. Other than that, that's all I got for the HVAC.
Thank you. Good work. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up is to excellent food service department too. And so Mr. Donnelly, updates for back to school.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. We'll start another year, full year of the community eligibility program, which is of course free meals, breakfast and lunch for all students. We filled 2 new open positions over the summer. We anticipate full staff in both kitchens. We'd like to thank the board for approving 2 more additional staff to give us a full crew. We do have some applications for substitutes, so we anticipate one of our best years with staffing in a long time. The reimbursement, the federal reimbursement rates are up over last year, which is a good thing. So we do anticipate having strong financial numbers again this year. And we're ready for staff next week and then students after that. So we're ready to roll. So thank you for all your help. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Donnelly.
Mr. Donnelly, have you looked any further into the backpack program? We're
Still a little bit with social worker, and we were not able to do anything over the summer because some of the funding wasn't there.
Yeah.
They cut back on a lot of the programs in that education. That was one of the first things that they wanted. They want everything to be for during the school year. So I'll keep looking into it again and try to give you updates as I can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Donnelly.
Okay, next up is 7.2 till 7.9 relates to expenditures that have already been incurred. Any questions with any of that? We've already started or completed the work. So just requesting that the board ratify these items. Very quickly, 7.2, that's the air monitoring agreement for testing so that the front lobby project could start. Allegheny County Health Department did visit and cleared the project, so it was good to go. But we needed this in place to get the health department in. Next is these 2 items relate to the field. It's a portable ticket booth as well as a game clock. So that relates to the multi-purpose field. Next is the plumbing repairs. We had storm water backup in both the business office and upstairs at Acme, and that's what that entails with item 7.5. The key here is to note that the problem was fixed, and fingers crossed it was fixed. Okay, next is the business office flooring that should be complete tonight. And next is just the board caucus room that also underwent flooding as a consequence of that storm water buildup. So that's being tackled as well. Next is we did purchase a van trailer. It came up to 7,180. We did pick it up, so the expense is already incurred. Next is a warming cabinet for cafeteria, and that's approximately $2,400. That keeps the food warm. Literally, that's exactly what it means. But that was a request from high school cafeteria staff. Next is router. That was also the order was placed. It should be coming in next week. So that should be good to go.
Sunny,
Next
was that
week,
an expected expense? Was that a
yes,
budget?
yes. And that was a planned expense. I know we've had like a 3D printer replaced, all sorts of, so this is part of that. The curriculum was also changed for that department, if you can recall,
Okay, yeah.
this year. So all this goes with that.
Okay, thank
Ne-
you.
Absolutely. Next is we need a vote tonight. This is for placement uh, at the Children's Institute. So need a motion and a second.
Mr. Paul, would you like to initiate that?
And this is item which one?
710.
Recommend the board approve the agreement with the day school at the Children's Institute for two Acatonia Elementary School students in the amount of $73,141 per student for the 25-26 school year.
Have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rinaldi. Any question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion passed. And your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is approval for speed limit signs. This is outside the high school that was earlier referenced to, where for events such as football games, the sign can be lit up to indicate a special event. There is also an agreement that Mr. Hoffman's office drew up that will be part of this as well. That will be signed because the district will own the sign, have to maintain it and repair it, but we'll place it on borough property. So, and that's for the high school. With Acme, that's a state road, so we are still awaiting PennDOT approval. So looks like the high school sign will happen first before the Acmetonia sign is installed. Any questions?
The cost of that, in that, motion is for both or
It's for
Just-
two signs.
Both at the high
in
school?
the-
or Acme and the high school?
There'll be two signs for the high school on Colfax.
Okay.
Wherever you did, three and nine. One would be the lawn right by the old Colfax, and one would be right by the end of the orchard.
Okay. So the Acme signs are not included in that price?
But it's pending.
Yes, understood. Just wanted to make sure.
Absolutely. Next is pay apps for filter. That's with the high school multi-purpose project. It's for work that was completed as of June 30th and last month as well. Any questions? No? Next is the masonry project. That's the first pay app. We will add the change order for $877 to the agenda as well. that was presented tonight. Any questions, please reach out. Colfax demolition, we request approval for pay act number 7. There's a final pay act, and that's pending completion of repairing the fence, and that's on the punch list.
This is not the final thing, this
No,
is just payment
No,
7.
we've still got
There'll be one more after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's pending fixing the fence.
Okay.
Next is 7.15. 7.15 to 7.22. All of it relates to student services, special education. Any questions, please reach out to Dr. Holler, but trying to get these in place before school starts at those respective placements.
Will those go under consent items then?
All the bulk of
The
the
tuition
finance will move to consent. In fact, almost all of it, except for bus routes and bus drivers, because the district does get audited on those 2 items.
Okay, thank you.
Next is baseline testing. This relates to athletics, and that's just to ensure additional coverage as needed. Any questions, please reach out to Mr. Lewinsky. Next is bus routes and bus drivers. You see the names. As we get paperwork, we will add them to this before the voting meeting. Nobody can drive without being cleared by the district as approved drivers. Thank you. That's it.
All right, thank you, Dr. Rajgopal. Let's move on to agenda item number 8, education. We do have some of our principals will be giving updates about the beginning of the school year, as well as our coordinator of curriculum and instruction, Mrs. Vecchio. We'll start up with Mrs. Ecker. Do you have anything you'd like to share this evening, Ms. Ecker?
I do not. Let me report, just, I have recommended the board approve the changes to the Acatonia Elementary Student Handbook for the 2025-2026 school year.
And there's also one for the junior, senior, right below 8-3.
Oh, great. Oh, I'm sorry, okay. And recommend the board approve the changes to the Springdale Junior High School student handbook for the 2025-2026 school year.
Thank you. All right, Mrs. Vecchio, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. Actually, our new teachers that we just hired will be here tomorrow for induction. So tomorrow and Thursday, they will be in the district. They'll be working with their mentors, learning about our policies, our processes, and getting ready to join us for the first professional development here at Allegheny Valley starting next week, which leads me to my next topic. Professional development next week. We have 3 very full days. We begin with Mr. Hoffman, who will be providing us with legal updates, specifically the Office of Civil Rights. I'm sorry, the Office of Civil Disabilities. Well, I messed that all up, didn't I? And rights. We'll be having our final presentation for that. And then we also will have topics such as streaming services, ADA compliance, 504 training, social media use. And then we have to do some compliance work for our special education audit. So we'll be taking a look at appropriate accommodations and modifications for our special education and 504 students. We're going to be also learning online testing tools. We have the AIU coming in to work with our entire staff, K through 12, not only for the test itself, but how to use them for your teaching. So the students are prepared, because this year everyone takes their state assessments online. And the tools look very different than things you're familiar with through Google or Word or anything like that. And we also have our strategics training. So we have an emergency management training also embedded in those 3 days. among other trainings. This year, since we do have some different grants and things going on, the state has contacted us and asked us to please complete the PA key, and that's KEI. That is a kindergarten inventory assessment. If you remember, a long time ago, we used to bring teachers in over the summer, and all the kindergartners that were coming into kindergarten, they kind of go through a battery of quick assessments. How are their fine motor skills? Do they know their letters, their numbers? We have since stopped that, like a lot of other school districts. The PA key is an observational tool to be completed in the first month, and it is not to stop and do testing. It is to observe the students while they're working in their natural process, to observe, and then you kind of tick mark off how they're doing. So we will actually have some training on how to do that. And it'll be assisted with our reading specialist, our math specialist, and also our pre-K teachers will also be embedded in that process. Because they need to know what students need to know, they're going to be looked for, as well as prepare and assist with the teachers. So it's a very full 3 days, believe it or not. We have enough time to breathe. And then we move into clerical day, and the start of school is the following Monday. So we're ready. Thank you. Would we like to have our principal, Mr. Hefner?
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone had my son. As you know, beginning of the school year is very busy. This week, I have teachers coming in to prepare their classrooms. It started today with kindergarten, and first through sixth grade will be in the building tomorrow and through the week. Parents are coming this week too to get their vehicle to pick up information for their family and their students to pick up. If they are walkers or parent pickup. As you know, we have pre-K and kindergarten orientation at the beginning of the school year. That's going to happen Friday, August 22nd. And pre-K will be in the afternoon, and orientation for kindergarten will be in the morning. Next week, I'll be sending out my welcome back letter to the families. That'll go on Seesaw as well as our school messenger. And as you know, we have an early open house, and that's the first week of school. That'll be Thursday. And what we're trying to do here is create an atmosphere where parents can come in, of course, and speak with the teachers, look at the classroom, but also we have presentations that are set up. One is going to be on Centegics. We'll be doing, and Jan possibly will be helping me with that, to talk to parents about what that is and why we got it. Also, we have Title I staff. We'll be presenting about some Title I. Anything else from Title I?
Specifically, what are our services? How do we offer them? And that every child is entitled to Title I services at the Appalachian Elementary School. So if you hear that Ms. Ranger or Ms. Betty or one of the parents working with your child has a panic, they're there for support to make sure your child works on that.
Thank you. And as you know, presidential physical fitness test has come back, so I'm going to have Mr. Oxenberg speak to families about that if they're interested. He would be available. And we're going to have a few people available to help parents with the parent portal and Seesaw, and have brief presentations if needed. So I think that's plenty for those families. And we'll have, of course, refreshments with Mr. Garland said. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Governor.
Good evening. A couple of things which I think are incredibly important here. So obviously everything we do is for kids. You wait all summer and then our kids start trickling back from sports. And I want to give you a number as I was looking today. And so there are some kids that participate in multiple activities, but rough estimate, and I will get the exact numbers, 210 of our students at Springdale Junior Senior High School are in band, color guard, or a sport, like a sport. That's something we should all be incredibly proud of how involved our kids are. That's half of our student body who is involved in the activity. had the opportunity, sports officially began on Monday. Band, if you have driven by, they've been out working in the parking lot, in the field, preparing for their halftime show, preparing this year to go out and actually be involved in some competitions, which is fantastic. But I think that's everything that we do and the work that goes into it. That's what it's about. Our kids, I think that's evidence of how involved our kids are here and the opportunities that they do have. I thought that was important to share with all of you as we march into the 25-26 school year. Kind of along the same lines as Mr. Hebner, we also are taking a little bit of a different approach. Think about getting a passport. That stamped. We're going to have some different stations set up around the building on open house night. When parents enter, they'll be given that, kids enter, given that passport. If they attend so many, they'll get their hand in for a drawing, just something a little bit different. We hope that we get folks that come and see. I know we're sharing between the elementary as well as the high school. That's something we're going to do different for us this year. Like Greg had said, I sent out a family letter on Friday, and then all this week at different correspondence. Parents are very proud to see them. Yesterday was a frequently asked questions. Today was a construction update. As you know, with the auditorium lobby change, kids are going to be going in down by the nurse's office. So that is a change in our procedure, and we want to over communicate those items so that folks are aware. We don't have, it's not as if we have 1,000 people coming in the morning. It's very manageable. A lot of our kids take advantage of free breakfast, our breakfast program in the morning. So those kids, when they do get off the bus, the majority of them go up to the cafeteria. But that's something we're just trying to give people a little kernel each day, because I think all of you know it. If you get a long email or a lot of stuff at once, you don't read it. So those are a few items, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Kim.
We've already talked about tomorrow, a busy day. Well, it's also busy even more so in pushing to an induction. It's our 7th grade walkthrough day. So that's when 7th graders come up with their families and they get a copy of their schedule and they get to walk through it to actually see what the classrooms are and what their day is going to be like traveling through the halls. It's gone very, very well every year that I've been here. I think last year every kid but 3 came, which is really impressive. It's also for our new students as well. We have quite a few kids transferring in, so they've been contacted and have the opportunity to come in. Looking forward to it. 2 of the little, like, got some tour guides, and 2 of the tour guides are actually now 8th graders, and they contacted me and said, hey, can I be a tour guide like so-and-so was for me last year? So they must enjoy running around the building, and, a lot of people show up, and the kids are into it. So, yes.
We want to add to our Key Club, which is led by Rachel Tinker. She really has taken a passion in leading and serving that club. They came in last week and met with us to look at opportunities and ways that they can give back and help do this. So some of those kiddos will be there tomorrow, going to help out with open house. One of their other ideas was senior nights, being able to maybe help out at the concession stand so parents who have kids can go participate and watch senior night. So that's something, those are ideas that the kids are coming up with. So I think there's nothing better than student voice and student leadership. So those are important.
So this, could you share that correspondence that you're sending out to parents with the board?
Yes.
It's just a matter of adding that.
Yep. I apologize. That is my error.
Thank you. Good question. What kind of response have you gotten from the kids looking at the field on the construction year and any?
So a lot of excitement. As I went to practices, I always make it something that I've always done as a principal in first day practice, go to all the practices and check in. Kids are super excited.
Yeah.
Without it. And it's been neat. I'm a nerd. I like the way things work for construction and seeing the process from beginning to end. I think the kids have watched that too. So I think they're excited. And there's new traditions like anything. It's a new tradition, and we've been talking to Ms. Bicking, with Coach Walsh, about with Ms. Plunkett, who was our cheer coach, what it'll look like as we march down to the field, because that's new. We used to march down to the vets. So those are things we've been trying to involve those groups as we plan and we make it happen. I also, it's okay, and I'll be quiet. We've spent a lot of time too. We've worked with the boosters. Thank you for helping to get the concession organized. We now are adding another group to the concession stand. you know, and I give a lot of shout out. We have really great parents who work together to figure out, okay, how are we going to share that space? How are we going to work together? Because at the end of the day, I know what I'm going to be doing Saturday morning. I'm going to be volunteering with the volleyball boosters, concession stand and scrimmage. It's a thankless job at the end of the day, but our booster parents have worked really hard to make that work. It's just, there's going to be bumps in the road. I think we all have to recognize that. But if we stay focused and address, we're going to debrief afterwards after that first game. What do we need to change and do differently? But it's been very nice to be able to reach out to parents and work together and figure things out. So, long story short, people are excited. Yeah.
Some of my kids have been asking me since they are going to get started for April, May, what's the end zone going to look like? What's going to be, I was like, I can't tell, I don't know, so I can't tell you. And they thought I was lying, so every single day they'd ask me again, and I'm like, I'm sure it's going to be something in orange dynamo or Springdale. Probably that's a safe bet. So the kids are excited, so I can't wait to play on it. Good. It's great.
Okay. Thank you both. Thank you. Dr. Holler, you're not getting out of it. Yeah, get up here.
Hi guys, just a couple quick things. We did ESY a little different this year. So our ESY program went June 16th to July 3rd. And we typically do it in the month of July. So I sent out a parent survey when we were done and unanimously loved the month of June for ESY. Gave people a little bit of a break in July for the summer. So we'll continue doing that. Olivia Fider, our social worker, Paula, to your question about the backpacks, Olivia did get a $1,000 grant. So she is working with a couple of us on how to organize that in both buildings for the backpacks to send food from local regions.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then last but not least, in December, we have our audit. So Courtney Berner from the state will be back in December. Part of it is online, part of it is in person. So if anybody's interested in helping out or signing papers or sitting on a committee, please let me know.
Yeah, Courtney's a tough one, so good luck.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Doc.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to technology. Mr. Moretti, you're our sole representative this evening. Is there any update on technology?
No, I do not have a report for this evening. I will have one for next week. And then there's the one-to-one handbook that Mr. May has prepared, and this covers the devices that the kids are issued. You know, what their responsibility is, and if the parents understand, like extreme damage, it's going to be their responsibility. So thank you, Mr. May, for preparing everything, and I look forward to some good things happening with technology. So that's technology for thank you, Dr.
You're welcome. Mr. Main, do you have anything to share? Anything for technology updates?
Towards me, we're in the final stretch. This is without a doubt the busiest time of the year for technology. We're just focused on keeping our feet planted in the ground, ready for impact, but we're going to keep our heads held high. We're very excited. A lot of good new technologies coming out this year, a lot of projects. So we're very excited. The public Chromebook pickup is tomorrow, if you haven't heard. That's actually here in this room. It's from noon to 5. That's mostly grades 2, 5, and 9, and any other new enrollees to the district.
For the new person who started from Guidewise?
You will start on Thursday. And I believe we will be making an arrangement for you to also do that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Main. Moving on to personnel, Ms. Haas.
Thank you. Multiple hires are being proposed to the Board of Directors this evening. Those recommended include fall play directors, teachers, cafeteria workers, and administration assistants. Also, there is a first reading of job description for paraprofessionals and administrative assistant on the agenda.
Thanks, Ms. Haas. Are you okay if I go through the items? Let's start with item 10.2, employment of classified staff. This is a ratified Carly Diancola, administrative assistant to guidance. 10.3, employment of professional staff. We're welcoming 2 new teachers, Sam Smallwood, mathematics, and Michaela Sherwin, special education. Those are also both ratifies. Employment of long-term substitute. Recommend the board ratify the employment of the following long-term substitute. That is Mr. Aaron Butler. He is replacing an employee who is going on leave, which created a bit of a domino effect. So you're going to see a sub for his position later on the agenda. 10.5, we do have 2 resignations. We have Mr. Sangaris, our business education teacher. That effective date is to be determined. School districts are permitted to hold employees that accept new positions. We intend to do that up until we either have a new employee for recommendation to the board or until that time has expired. We do have candidates for the position, and we are starting the recruiting and interviewing process. We also have Mr. Dujak, who's resigning from the girls' 7th and 8th grade basketball coaching position. Employment of supplemental staff. This is recommending positions for the fall play. Fall play director, Mrs. Mundock. Fall play assistant director, Ms. Voitis. Fall play art coordinator, Ms. Mundock. Fall play set designer, Ms. Patrick. Fall play lighting designer, Mr. Main. And fall play sound designer, Mr. Main. Employment of athletic staff. We have a list there of athletic staff positions ranging from paid positions to volunteer positions. Ethan Zahner, volunteer football. Kristen Scambati, 7th and 8th grade cheerleading. Blake Scambati, volunteer football. Anthony Eitri, head coach baseball. Diane Killian, JV coach volleyball. Tom Whitfield, volunteer coach volleyball. Stephanie Butke, volunteer coach volleyball. Mike Dujak, 8th grade girls basketball, and Olivia Fida, 7th grade girls basketball. 10.8, we have 3 teachers that have reached the point in their career where they are eligible for tenure due to their 3 satisfactory years of performance in the Allegheny Valley School District. Those 3 teachers are Alexis Teitelbaum, Jonathan DeSalle, and Angie Rudolph. 10.9, employment of classified staff. These are ratifies. One is Rebecca Ankney, cafeteria worker, and we are waiting a name for the second name, which we will have for you at the voting meeting. 10.10 is a leave of absence. That's employee number 1572 for FMLA and child rearing leave. 10.11 are job descriptions. First reading, that's for the K through 6 administrative assistant job description, health assistant job description, and final para job description. If there's any suggestions, changes that you would like to see in those, please email me and we will take those into consideration. 10.12, employment of long-term substitute paraprofessional. This is a ratified. This person will be replacing Mr. Butler, who we're asking the board to ratify for the long-term substitute position. And that long-term sub is Matthew Pevner, starting at $16.50 per hour. And that concludes our report, my report under personnel. Any questions? Let's move on then into emergency management. Ms. Moretti, do you have anything under emergency management?
No, we didn't meet this month yet. With all the preparations to the beginning of school, we felt it would be better. We'll wait till September and start up our meetings. And we had talked briefly about maybe not meeting every month, but every other month, things like that. So, with all the emergency preparations, with the Centegics and everything, I thank Mr. Hedner and his crew, for getting the schools prepared for emergencies and safety. Thank you. That concludes everything.
Thank you, Mrs. Moretti. Let's move on to athletics and student activities. Mrs. Rinaldi, do you have anything? Ball play. Do you mind just reading the title of the play for us?
Which is Princess.
Thank you. And also, Mr. Levitsky, do you have an update for us on athletics?
We are up and running with fall sports. Scrimmages, football has its first scrimmage. I want to say Jefferson Morgan, almost in West Virginia, I guess, on Saturday morning. Our other teams will begin some scrimmages. I believe gameplay is the week of the 27th. A lot of our games are away until after the 5th. Our games that are played at the multi-purpose field. So there's going to be a big stretch of home games. We work with our opponents, particularly in soccer, to flip the schedule so that, for example, Greensburg Central was near the beginning of the year, there at the end. We're going to travel to them first. Ms. Noel did a lot of that background work to make sure that we're good to go with the schedule. And I think we're just looking forward to kicking off the new facility.
Great, and thank you for all the time you've been putting into athletics, Mr. Levisky. Greatly appreciated. Any questions about the fall play proposal?
Okay, Mrs. Mundok's in the audience, so we want to ask her to give kind of an overview of what the play is.
You want it, you got it. Come on up, Ms. Mundok.
Hi, everyone. Adventure is the name of the game this year. The Witch's Princess is a fantasy adventure. It shows our heroine bucking the system and going against what her king and queen parents want for her. Along the road, she picks up a bunch of unique travelers that discover things about themselves and help her discover new things about herself. It always has a happy ending. It is written by the same playwright, Don Zolitas, who wrote The Crating, which was last year's fall play. And it does incorporate a new element, which is puppetry, both student-worn and student-manipulated, which gets me really excited because we have those students that like to be out but don't want to talk. So they have the opportunity to be manipulating things and be a little more on the stage, but maybe not have to hold down a full role.
Thank you. I look forward to this. We're expecting great things because you never cease to amaze us.
Thank you. Very excited
You
about
know, the
this.
thoughtfulness in getting more students roles. That's
Thank you.
impressive.
Thank you. I have students involved with the puppet making as well, which is like awesome. Only reason we could do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Mundok, any idea of a date? or
Yes,
time
I'd love to do it the weekend before Thanksgiving. What do you think about that?
I think that's awesome.
What do you think about that? Is that like the 21st, 22nd, Friday,
Later.
Saturday? Boom,
Perfect.
boom, boom, get everybody out for home.
Hopefully we'll have some of that out of the back entrance
Yeah.
open by then.
Yeah, and Mr. Levisky and I have been communicating and will continue. And we both are like dreaming and scheming up ideas about how we're gonna like drop people in to the audience from the roof.
Okay,
What?
meeting adjourned.
No, back it up.
Time for you to go, Mrs.
Okay,
Mundok.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much. And thank you, Mrs. Mundok. Let's go on to policy legislative affairs. Ms. Moretti or Ms. Ecker, any updates?
We had discussion with the board about some policies that are the 000 numbers, and those are regarding the board, the composition, the organization, and things like that. Basically, the rules for the school board to follow. We will have our committee meeting on Wednesday. I don't know, I always mess the date up. I want to say August 27th. And those are at 10 a.m. so that we can bring in some administrators. The 26th. So, for, 27th. Wait, it's the 27th? Okay, Beth, you can't come.
No, Jan's the 26th.
Okay, it's Wednesday the 27th. Okay, all right. So Wednesday the 27th at 10 a.m. Anybody that's interested, please come. These policy meetings are just so exhilarating and everything. And I hope Mrs. Crum will keep her attendance up with that. And we look forward to some good things. And thank you for everyone for your support of that. We have up for policy review, we have second reading. I know it's hard to believe we had a first reading, but we did that back in June. And these are just some of the ones that will come up for a second reading. They are 105 curriculum, 108 adoption of textbooks, 109 resource material, 111 lesson plans, 122.1 club sports, 124.1 dual enrollment, and 718 service handbook. Thank you, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Moretti. Under discussion items, I do have 2 items there for us to have a discussion about this evening. The first is cellular device-free schools. As we all know, last year we put some limitations on cell phone usage. This year, want to know the board's thoughts on increasing that so that cell phones are no longer permitted in the hallways or in the cafeteria.
We had discussed that when we implemented the cell phone, limitations. We had talked about like use it as a pilot, this past year. We've heard some good reports that the students are paying closer attention in classrooms. There's been a little decrease in the hallways. Students are socializing a little bit more. And that really was one of the goals we set, that students get away from being tied to their cell phone so much and socialize. So we are seeing some of that. So the committee is recommending that we expand now to have it all day. And this is also, there's legislation out there, it hasn't been passed yet, but there's legislation to ban it from all public schools. So this may not be a recommendation by the committee, it might be a mandate, but we'll wait. Mr. Hoffman will keep us abreast of that stuff. So, just for the board and anybody in the audience that wants to comment, like their feelings or thoughts about the use of cell phones within the school.
I think one of the things I'd like to see is how we would go about implementing that and managing that. So, it's something that we may have to do anyhow. So, whether we choose to do it now or not, I think that is something that needs to be put in front of us as far as how we're going to do it. And then definitely something we should put sooner than later if we're going to, especially implement it this year. Now it's time to look at,
I think we were definite trendsetters. I had the opportunity to travel a little bit this summer. And it's amazing talking to people that are working in the school system, have kids in the school system. Their schools are now implementing this, but they're going hard at it. It's not, you have the bags, one of our semi-local districts bought the bags and the students are going to lock them up. But, I'm hearing the same complaints that we heard at the very beginning, but I tell them, it all works out, and everything, but I think we are definite trendsetters, and I do appreciate, everybody's opinion on that. And I think as we move forward, making it the school day wise, sure there'll be some glitches and stuff, but our admin has proven that they, along with instructing their staff, has really kept this under wraps within the classrooms. That's very much appreciated.
And also we had the email that we had talked about before with PA Unplugged, and that's an organization that is helping districts implement the policies of no schools being out the entire day, and they have some sample policies that we could use and ideas on how to do it, how to collect them. It's usually first thing in the morning. They go into a bag, take it them later, talk about emergency issues that we call the office, all of the the details, so we can look into that and try to kind of finalize what the plan would be. It looked like a pretty comprehensive piece of information there. And
I
we can
think
share
we
it with
had,
the teachers.
we talked about the bags.
Yeah.
And I think the board was in agreement, not to lock them up because you do have cases of emergency and things like that. So we didn't want to totally you can't even look at it during the day, but it's there. If there is an emergency, the students can use it. We found that some students use it, if they have a medical condition and they may need it for reminders on things like that. So, in those instances, and I think the students have been reporting to the administration about their need for it. Parents have met, and discussed their need for it. So I think we're leading in the right direction, and I hope to be, a school district that other districts are looking up to and saying, look how successful they are, look what they've done. So, hopefully that all works.
I mean, the feedback, and I guess I'm looking to the administration of how smooth things went or didn't go when we implemented that. Any comments? I mean, it seemed, from what I've heard anyhow, that it was a pretty open, easy thing. It wasn't as difficult as we thought it was going to be, even the pieces that we put together. Do we feel that the student body would be capable of just saying, hey, you can have them, but don't use them? And that's what I would say is have the administration come back to us with a recommendation of how to implement and their thoughts about, whether we think we'll have difficulties in doing something like that. So, and I guess that would be something, I know it's a crazy time to ask it, but sooner than later, because once you get into the year, it's always going to be a little more difficult. But some recommendations there from your perspective on how to go about that.
We'll do that.
Rather than us driving back to them, this is how you're going to do it. I'd like to see them say, hey, let's try it this way.
That's a good idea.
I will have something to share at the voting meeting.
Okay.
If we're going to make a change, we've got to make it because school's starting. So,
Yeah, one concern with that is, if the student handbooks are already done, so by us putting this out, it's just like, hey, how would we get this to the student body and the parents?
yeah,
We could just do an amendment to the
Amendment,
handbook. They're all
right.
electronic, they're not printed anymore. So we print them out if we have a request for
Oh,
hard
okay.
copies, so we just ask you to add an amendment to the
Okay.
handbook. That's just
Right,
like we're
thank
doing
you.
now with the updates.
Thank you.
and then we would have to catch up with policy.
Yeah.
Is there a penalty for not turning in your phone? I mean, you're not frisking them, right? Is there a penalty for someone not turning in their phone?
There are penalties for defiance. Our students, are very good, compliant kids. So I don't know how many instances we had. Mr. Levinsky could shed more light, but yeah, there would be consequences if someone was asked to do
Do
it.
we have that,
We're
we
not.
have that discussed?
That's what I'm saying. We're not asking them to turn in their phones or anything. We're going to ask the administration, the staff in the administration, to put something in front of us as a recommendation on how to start this. So if that's what they recommend, then we'll be talking about something like that. Where I don't know.
If they put
that's
something in
what's-
front of us, that would include a penalty for not turning.
You already have in your student code of conduct under minor behaviors, cellular phone use. So it's already
We're
there.
just taking a little step further.
Are you talking about if
They
someone's
don't turn in their phone, you're making it say turn in their phones, yeah?
No, we're not. So right now what they do is when kids come into the classroom, they can either have their phone in their backpack or they can give it to their teacher to hold. I thought you were asking if I was playing on my phone and said, you can't do that. But you were talking about I don't think we've had any of those issues.
No, but some of the recommendations are to have the students put your phone in the bag and it's there until there's an absolute emergency this is not including kids who need it for medical reasons or, there are those exceptions, but yes, it's put away for the day. And it is shown that it increases the kids talking to each other. It's fine, they don't have it in the classroom, that's great, but then they get out in the hallway and then they're all on their phones. And the idea is that you want them to interact with each other and have that social, personal connection.
What do they get? They're supposed to get rid of their phones beginning of the day?
Yes.
Get rid of it.
That's,
You
Well, I
just
understand.
Yes, that's the idea.
not use. It's basically not use the phone
use.
from the beginning.
So why would it, did you already test this, you said? You had bags?
We didn't have, bags were meaning backpacks.
It depends what-
Like their own
what the
carrying,
teachers are
their
recommending.
own body, the things that they're carrying around with them.
I'm just
What
saying that
Be a purse.
the people who have done it, that's what they recommend. Maybe our administration and our teachers don't want to recommend that, and it might work okay without it. But I forwarded the article to some of the administrators, and you have an email from an organization that they they put some stuff out and regulations on it that they like, and they say it works, and there's just nothing but positive reaction from it, that it's good for the students.
What's the punishment if they don't, if they're caught with it? Is there any kind of thing, or they just told to put it away?
It's in the handbook there, so this is.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Miss Gibbons' area of expertise.
What punishment?
Yes.
She didn't hear that. She didn't get that.
Okay, so what we agreed on was a verbal warning first, because we knew this would be huge for them to get into. Second of all, after they got written up, then it was gonna be lunch detention, and then after the third one, it was gonna be after school detention. We had a total, I didn't keep track of lunch detentions, but we had a total of 32 after-school detentions over the entire last year based on cell phone insubordination. They refused to put it away. And out of those 32, I think there were 6 repeat offenders. So there were only a few that just one time and they were done. And then the other, I think there were 6 kids that had 3 or 4 themselves.
When did we start this? We didn't start at the beginning.
This
of
was
the
started
year.
on the beginning before last year's school,
Last year.
school year
I
started.
remember that,
That was the
yeah.
entire school year.
This was August 15th, the letter that I sent out last year was August 15th, that's what I pulled out. August 15th of last year is when we made the decision to do it inside classrooms.
So,
And that's what we came up with.
so the ones that you caught, were they inside the building?
Yeah, they were in the classroom using it, couldn't.
They're in the
And
classroom?
they were asked to put it away. Every teacher's pretty reasonable. Said, we're doing this, can you please put your phone away? And 99% of the kids put their phone away. Probably they put their phone away. There are a few that just will not, so then they went through the process, the warning, lunch detention, and the after-school detention.
If we
Like I
go
said, there
there-
were a few that got multiple, and then I spoke with the parents more directly about that, and told them that there would be a suspension if they continued once there was a particular market to file. So, talking about that, but it really wasn't that bad. Most of the kids, like you said, if the teacher asked them to please put it away, they would do so. So it wasn't nearly as big of a deal as I thought it was going to be.
So we're not doing anything but telling them to pay attention to class.
Well, now we're saying not in the hallway and not in cafeteria as well. So we're just extending it a little bit.
But you didn't have that, the hallway thing was
No.
before.
It was
That's
just
probably gonna be a
classrooms.
tough
It was
one.
classrooms. That's all.
Can I just add to dealing with the Colfax kids for how long? We actually had the same process that you're talking about at Colfax because we had cell phones for a lot longer than we can remember, right? We had cell phones in the classroom. We knew we had them when I was teaching. That was 16 years ago here. So we actually at Colfax, it was the policy, kind of the process you're asking. Put them away. They stay away. They're not allowed to be out. We continue that active. Remember, we see little kids with kindergarten, first grade. They've got cell phones. So we put them away, they stay away, they're supposed to be off. If they do go off, we have to turn them off. A lot of times it's us parents texting our kids, by the way. And then they have 3 strikes, same thing, warning, call the parent, then refrain. The accommodation we've made is if it continues, we work with the parent. We understand a lot of kids are latchkey kids now, they're going home on their own, walking home from the bus stop, the parent wants to stay in contact. They have to put them in an envelope, the envelope gets handed over to the teacher in the morning, teacher pulls it out at the end of the day, hands it back. So that's kind of the process we've been doing with the older elementary students, and now we see it K through and on, and they're very respectful. We have very few problems. Most of the time it's more because it's a novelty and they want to make sure everyone knows they have something. So I just wanted to let you know how it works here.
That'll carry over if they move up to.
Yeah, they get used to not
Right.
really having them, or having them on their person, but in their backpack or put away. So we are so trustful here. Our kids just set their phones in their lockers and walk away.
Yeah.
So it's a good thought process to have. So, but yeah, they really are prime for elementary hours. Just wanted to let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we will have a recommendation for the voting meeting, for the board. That wouldn't be a voting item necessarily. We could just give it a thumbs up. Also wanted to see your thoughts on having a contest to name the multi-purpose field. We have a field without a name. So we wanted to know if you would be in favor of doing something like that, or possibly trying to sell the rights to name the field, possibly trying to generate some revenue. Wanted to get your thoughts on it. There are kids, well, Most kids are very excited. The community is excited about the field. We like to capitalize on that momentum a little bit, build some more school spirit. Want to see your thoughts on that, either trying to sell the rights to name the field or having some type of contest with the students.
I don't agree with selling the rights. I think it should be, like the student contest, or just call it.
You don't agree with selling it?
No, not the rights. Why should it be named like one of
And
the
then it can
business?
change every year.
Right, so it can't be like Company X field.
What about Conti Field?
Oh, there you go.
Those are the questions. Are board members allowed to come up with names or not? We allowed to enter the contest?
Students.
Stupid.
You could actually almost do both, because you could, like, if it was called the Dynamo Field, you could have, Conte Dynamo Field,
Well, yeah,
Just hit
I
'em
mean,
up
I
with
like
some money.
Dynamo fields, because if we open up like the commercial.
Right.
Dina has a good idea. Listen.
You gotta pay them. No, I think it's, having the students come up with, we're gonna come up with the standard thing. They might come up with something pretty creative. I think
Would it be
it's,
something every year? You change the name every year?
no, I think
The
there's,
same one?
yeah, I think it's, but
I agree too. I agree. I don't think it should be something that
That's the
is
student.
out to get money. I think it should be a
It should be
personal,
student.
Love it.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, build school
Yeah, I
spirit.
really want to open it up, to families rather than just the students, just to bring in
Any
families
website.
into it,
Anybody that has a suggestion.
Can't hurt. There definitely is some momentum. Always great to have school spirit and to build on that excitement. There's a nice little buzz in the community. Also, we're going to be looking at policy about selling advertisements for the field. We'll take care of that when we meet for our policy committee. That concludes all I have. I'll turn things back over to Mr. Polino at this time.
we'll open it up to board member discussion items at this point. Any items that we want to discuss at this point?
Well, one thing I just wanted to just kind of put it out there, we had talked before about, we did not, we all voted against the purchase of new computers for second grade, and that we're gonna have to look at, a new system of purchasing and, we had talked about why our seniors are ending up with 4-year-old computers. We'd rather see the juniors and seniors maybe with a newer computer, and then recycle those other computers down to the elementary level. So it's kind of conversation that, the administration needs to be on, and how's that gonna work in the classroom, and, but kind of just redoing it to try to, really save some money over the long haul. So, and my hope is to eliminate, the iPads in the, pre-K through K at least, maybe first grade, if we can, if that's feasible, using these recycled computers, and then let those juniors and seniors have the newer computers in their older years, where they hopefully will be using it more and really learning the tech and, AI and all of the changes that are coming. So just kind of to open up the conversation, get the thoughts going. What are your thoughts on it? Where do you want to go with it? What do you think would be the best thing? But,
It's a scheduling thing of the devices that they have, because you're looking for a relook. I don't know that it's gonna, in the short term, save money, because you're gonna have to do a shift. There's gonna be some things that you need to fill in, but I'm sure that, that's what we're gonna have to do if we're gonna achieve some of the goals we just said. Again, between the committee and our technical staff, I'm sure that they gotta start working on that, yeah.
We are here next week.
Any other discussion items? And again, I think we're gonna start having to spend a lot of time on the facilities overall, and the needs of the field and everything. Now that we got past the point of getting them to play back at home, how do we accommodate the fans and everything? We need to delve into that a little further, and at the it might be prudent for us to even just have maybe a meeting on that alone, whether that would be in a committee meeting or operation, I don't know which committee was best, the finance and operations in the near future, so that we could start saying, what are the things, how do we want this place to look, next year? Because right now we got a plan back there, but what are the next steps? We need to start, ironing those things out. We've had a lot of different ideas that have come through, but we need to start solidifying some of that and getting it budgeted for as well. So,
I think especially with like ADA.
yeah. And I know we have some of that with the parking and things like that we moved ahead with, but there's the whole facility now that needs to be looked at. So, any other comments, discussion items that the board has? Seeing none, we'll open it up to our community members. Is there any discussion items or information that you have any questions on?
Can I see one more thing?
No, you were up. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. No.
Rebecca, our marching band numbers are going up as well. We have close to 50 students for marching band, with 14 of those students color guard students, which, as you know from our years past, that is double and almost triple what we've had in the past. And we just marched in the Kennywood Fall Parade, was that 2 weekends ago? And we're already scheduled for our first multi-school competition at the first weekend of September after Labor Day. So the marching band is like on fire and ready to go. So I hope to see you guys all there for all the different things because they're making it fun.
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Oh, boy. Go ahead.
I just wanted, I don't know if you got the date for the Plan Fest, will be September 2nd. We're still working on the time, and the posters and flyers will be finished as soon as we get confirmation from the groups that are participating. So as soon as possible.
Yeah, in case anyone listening at home didn't hear that, Fan Fest is scheduled for September 2nd. We're excited to have that again this year. It's turned into a very nice tradition. Mrs. Sobiak, thank you for reminding us.
Thank you. Hearing no other discussion items, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I doubt if there's any opposed.
Thank you, everyone. Be safe. Thank you.
How you doing?
It's like you so